What is going on, guys? Your role model of the IWC. Sorry if my voice even seems a little bit off. You can see where I was last night. If you check Twitter, I decided, since I got off before 5 o'clock, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna convince my stepdad to come with me. I paid for the tickets, but I said, you know what, let's see if we can get up to Chicago. I got up to Chicago. Might have missed a little bit of dark, but really, who cares about dark? I still got to watch about an hour and a half of dark, but still, that's not why I was there. I was there for one moment in specific, and I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was 50-50. I was like, well, if the moment happens, I'm not going to miss it. Because there's been one guy that has been going to these wrestling shows in Chicago the last 7 years. I've gone to Money in the Banks in Chicago. I've gone to a bunch of the WWE shows in Chicago. I went to All In. I went to All Out. I went to all these shows where the number one topic from the fans that are in the venue is CM Punk gonna return at this show? It's in Chicago. He's not very far. It's a big show. Is he gonna be there? Is CM Punk going to be there? And the answer's always been no. CM Punk has not shown up. For 7 years, he did not show up. All In, we thought maybe if it's not happening at All In, it's not going to happen. Same thing at All Out. We thought if it doesn't happen then, it's not going to happen. We thought at Revolution, it might happen. It didn't happen. All right, it's not going to happen. That's the last straw. Then we get a Rampage announcement. The Rampage is going to be doing the first dance in Chicago. Okay. You get the CM Punk rumors. And this time, CM Punk. Yes, Phil Brooks, CM Punk, the man that sat down and gave a famous pipe bomb on an episode of Monday Night Raw. The man that got fired on his wedding day of all days. The man that's married to another WWE former alumni in AJ Lee. Phil Brooks, CM Punk, finally made his return last night in front of Chicago. One of the best moments I think I've ever been a part of. I've been a part of WrestleMania crowds. I've been a part of NXT crowds. I've been a part of All Out crowds, AEW crowds before. I've been to some great matches with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. Great match with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I don't think I've literally went to a WrestleMania, and I can tell you this right now. I think last night was probably the peak of wrestling in my life. That moment was the greatest moment I've ever been a part of. The pop that we had for that man in Chicago, in the United Center, was probably the greatest pop that I've ever been a part of. I cannot even fathom a pop that was bigger than that. You know it's bad when the pop is louder than the man's entrance music. I heard the cheddar, but we were so loud, I didn't even start hearing Cult of Personality until probably about 3 or 4 verses in. It was insane in that building. Everybody chanting CM Punk, welcome back, welcome home. We did get some fuck you Vince chants. Fuck you, Vince. We had CM Punk come into that ring last night, and he told you exactly how he felt. That he sees potential in AEW. For 7 long years, he sat aside and just waited. And he made us wait. And he wanted to thank us. But CM Punk waited because the time wasn't right. And then he came down in there and he said, but he really gave up on wrestling in 2005 when he was crying in his last Ring of Honor match. Because from 2005 to August 20th, 2021, CM Punk was not a professional wrestler. If that does not speak volumes to you, I don't know what will. WWE killed the man's passion. He kind of said that too. Why would I go back to a place that caused me so much mental harm, physical harm? Why would I go back to somewhere that got me sick in the first place? Why would I go back there? That is the greatest question of all time. Why would he ever go back there? The way they handled his whole situation with Doc Samson was a terrible, terrible look on Vince McMahon and the company. Vince McMahon refused to let CM Punk be CM Punk when he was there. They refused to really use CM Punk the way he should have been used. They forced CM Punk to work when he wasn't ready to work. That might have been the biggest mistake in Vince McMahon's entire professional wrestling, entertainment, whatever, career, endeavor, or whatever you want to call it. That might have been the biggest mistake of all time for Vince McMahon. Because that reaction that CM Punk got is bigger than any reaction that WWE has gotten in I don't know how many years. John Cena's reaction didn't even come close to that. John Cena had a great reaction, but did not come close to CM Punk. Edge didn't come close to CM Punk. Shout out to you, Roman Reigns, who said Edge and Cena are bigger than Punk. Sure didn't sound like it in the United Center. Sure did not sound like it in the United Center. When we were first parking in the United Center, I don't even know if the parking people really knew who CM Punk was, but he even said, I hear that a lot of people are going to be upset if CM Punk doesn't show up tonight. And then he was like, how about you guys? I was like, I'm not really expecting it, but if it happens, I guarantee you everybody's walking out of here the happiest people alive. And that was the case. CM Punk did show up. CM Punk showed up, and CM Punk with even the first of the music, CM Punk was the biggest star in AEW history. Just with that alone. He didn't even have to walk out yet, and he was the biggest star in AEW history. You know what? I didn't even watch the rest of Rampage, and I paid over $100 to go to the venue. I did not watch the rest of Rampage because I went outside in the line for the shirt. I didn't even get the shirt. This is the only shirt that I was able to get. I didn't get the CM Punk shirt that I waited in line for over an hour for because they sold out. It was wrapped around the United Center. 2 different lines wrapped around the United Center trying to buy that man's shirt. I go on the show after the show's over. I go on the AEW shop. The shop doesn't even work. The AEW shop on Pro Wrestling Tees doesn't even work. The man legitimately blew the roof off of the United Center and blew the roof off of the pro wrestling world. AEW last night was probably one of the most talked, well, CM Punk more specifically was probably one of the most talked about things in the history of professional wrestling. If you looked at any point after that moment at 9 p.m. Chicago time, that moment when we first heard that music, any time after that, the number one worldwide trending topic, if you went there, was CM Punk. And CM Punk had 3 of the top 10 trending. Best in the World was trending, I believe, at 7. And then at 10, He Is Back was trending. All in regards to CM Punk. CM Punk returned and made the professional wrestling world have some life in it again. That was the biggest moment of the entire year. That's not even going to get anything come close to it. That is the biggest moment in the last 5 years. And Edge return, that did nothing compared to CM Punk. Just listen to the way that the United Center reacted for that man. And then we get to figure out that CM Punk's heard that Darby Allin's kind of calling him out. We see Darby Allin up in the rafters with Sting. CM Punk says, you know what, Darby? One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to fight me. There's one thing a little bit worse you don't want to do than that. And that's fight me in Chicago. Everybody around my section sitting there, oh, we're going to get a match. Yeah, we're getting a match. But I literally turned to the guy next to me. I was like, yeah, it's at All Out. He ain't wrestling now. He's gonna have plenty of time to be put on a bill to bill the card. He ain't gonna just randomly come into a show and wrestle. CM Punk is way too big for. I just hope we don't do anything stupid like have him wrestle on a Dynamite. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily stupid, but CM Punk's in-ring return needs to be at All Out. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get the shirt by the time I'm at All Out. But if they even have the slightest bit of knowledge, AEW All Out should be selling that shirt. I'm going to be going to Pro Wrestling Tees. I just this morning brought tickets for FanFest on Saturday. So if you're going to be there, come say hi to me. But I do have my tickets for that. So I will be there Saturday and Sunday now. All Out, I will be at, of course. It's going to be a big weekend. It's going to be a big weekend, that September 5th weekend. Probably one of the best weekends to be a professional wrestling fan because we should be seeing the in-ring return of Phil Brooks, CM Punk going up against Darby Allin and what I believe is going to end up being the main event. Christian Cage and Kenny Omega is not going to hold a candle to what CM Punk and Darby Allin are going to do in terms of fan reaction in that crowd. I would have Kenny Omega open the show. I would have him open the show with Christian Cage. And you can have Kenny Omega win, as he should. And then you have CM Punk go out there, and you have CM Punk main event in front of his home crowd, in front of Chicago. There's no better place for CM Punk to return in the ring, just like there was never going to be another place for CM Punk to return to TV. If CM Punk was ever going to return, it was in Chicago. We knew that. That was no big secret. He wasn't going to show up at the first Rampage. He wasn't going to show up at the Arthur Ashe show. Everybody knew if he was showing up, it's going to be in Chicago. Chicago's going to give him the best reaction of the year again at All Out. And we will make sure of it. Yesterday was probably the best decision of my lifetime. I got off work. I didn't even know by the time I started my shift whether or not I would be going there. I was like, maybe if I get off, I can go. Buy some tickets right after work and find my way into the United Center. Maybe. But I wasn't really sure. I got off work, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going. I might be cutting it close, but I'm going. I have to be there. I ended up making it. And I ended up getting to see the return of quite possibly the biggest name in professional wrestling. SummerSlam is not going to hold a candle to what CM Punk did in that 20-minute segment, which was CM Punk at the beginning. SummerSlam isn't going to have any headlines. It might be a good show. The weekend was made already. I feel bad for Ilya Dragunov and Volta. They're going to have a great match. They're going to have a phenomenal match at NXT TakeOver on Sunday. I think it's a match of the year candidate, possibly. Roman Reigns and John Cena tonight are probably going to have a great match. But not a single one of those matches are going to get talked about. Not when you have CM Punk returning the exact same weekend that you have a show. It's just not happening. I don't know what the ratings are for AEW Rampage last night. I do know that their YouTube video hit 2 million, which is a big deal for them. I'm hoping we got a decent amount of viewers seeing that beautiful moment with our lovely Chicago crowd. You know we bring the heat in Chicago. So we had to do it for you. But anyways, I'm going to get on out of here. Just wanted to come on here and talk about Phil Brooks, CM Punk, making his return there in the United Center on August 20th, 2021. Just about 16 years and 1 week since he claims he left pro wrestling when he left Ring of Honor. That is probably the greatest moment that we could have had. Probably the greatest moment that we could have had. Anyways, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next time. I do have some more videos coming up today. SummerSlam review, or preview and predictions, is going to be up today. SummerSlam review will be up immediately following SummerSlam after I get it filmed, so probably about an hour after SummerSlam. I will also be filming NXT TakeOver after this video gets uploaded. However, that's not getting uploaded till tomorrow because I don't want to upload 4 videos in one day, but you will at least get 3 today for you. But huge weekend in pro wrestling. Can't wait for it. And we're going to keep on chugging along with SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver. As much as I want to be excited for these shows, I don't think they could top my excitement that I still have for CM Punk. I'm sorry. But I'm going to get on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.